We go back to our big one, and we're talking about the Electoral Commission adhering to the Supreme Court order to create a portion on the collation sheet for all political party agents and returning officers to append their signatures after the results are collated. All right, so we have Mr. Martin J. Kosa on the line. He is the new Patriotic Party Director of Elections. Good evening, and thank you, sir, for joining us.
Yes, good evening, Evelyn, and how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm well, very, very well.
So this should be a victory for credible and transparent elections, is that it?
Yes, to the extent of the management of the collation results. I mean, this matter, in all fairness, is not one that the Commission should have waited for it to go to court. If you look at the CI, Regulation 38, 3, B and C, makes an arrangement where polling station results are signed by agents, they are given copies, and copies have to be pasted at the center where the election took place. Now, if you come to Regulation 42D, it talks only of parliamentary results collation sheets. And it says that the returning officer shall invite the candidate agent to sign it, and then afterwards he will put a copy at the collation center. It does not talk about they getting copies. And that is strictly parliamentary. Now, when it comes to the presidential, it makes no mention at all. One would wonder, don't we have two elections in one, i.e. parliamentary and presidential? So why do we have a legal, if you like, a regulation managing the parliamentary and not the presidential? For me, it went without saying that we needed to do something, even if the Commission was going to take some administrative measure to fix this, but that didn't happen. Thankfully, the Supreme Court of the land has spoken. It's a good news. I believe that a lot of light has been shed on darkness. Some looming controversy, crisis, challenges that would have had ahead of this election is removed, and that is to the extent of what this is. Of course, there are one or other two issues that we need to look at. But that's another matter. Tomorrow we have an IPAC, hopefully, and God willing, we'll go in there, try and deal with some of these issues as we all wrap up for the election. But this is a really, really, really good and refreshing news to hear. And like I said, a lot of light has been shed on darkness. And then we have that darkness removed so we can see our way clear.
But how come the political parties did not see this lapse?
Well, we saw it. I recall raising it because, you know, when the reforms were enacted after the Supreme Court, all the stages that we went through, I recall this was part of it. Because in the previous CI, it was there that it was not in there that agents must be given copies and even sign. So it was one thing we looked at and put there. I recall again, this being captured in the final draft because the parties had the opportunity of joining the review committee in Parliament. So it came to me as a surprise that it finally was missing from the main document when it was passed. But of course, we knew that this day would come any day. We thought the Commission itself had to initiate something administratively. Once they didn't do, the courts were obvious. And I'm not surprised that one of the lawyers who led the case of NPP then to the Supreme Court and fought and brought about these reforms eventually is one who has won this landmark ruling for us in this matter.
All right, so how will this engender confidence in the December polls?
Well, to the extent of knowing exactly what the collection of polling station results are. Unlike the previous, you do not know who actually does what. The return officer can decide to sit in his bedroom, put together figures, come out and say, Mr. A1, I'm declaring. Now you are required to do that in consultation somehow with the parties. They will have to sign, they will have to retain copies, and you have to paste a copy at the collation center. So it's more transparent. At least that spectacle is working, and you're going to have people follow through the end as far as the collation process is concerned.
Right. So will this make the political parties work more easier?
But it's much more easier in terms of transparency and if you like, inclusiveness. Now, like I said, it's not going to be left to one individual to go and put together figures and come and declare. Once you are going to sign, of course, you are part of the putting together. And so, I mean, right away, there would be common grounds as to what the eventual outcome is. And it is done by all, not one individual. And then the parties can actually follow what goes into the final figures. And so it's good. I mean, it's one wonderful thing that we've had. Imagine an election where, after the presidential results have been declared at the constituency collation center, you don't have access. You just are kept in the dark. I mean, it wouldn't have been proper. So I think it's very fantastic news.
All right, thank you very much.
I think it solved that problem relative to the collation.
All right, thank you very much, Martin.
Thank you.
Right, we have been speaking to Martin Ejay Kosa. He is the Director of Elections of the NPP. Right, we are also trying to speak to Dr. Edward Brenya. He is a lecturer at the University of Science and Technology, and the story is still that the Electoral Commission has adhered to the Supreme Court order to create a portion on the collation sheets for all political parties. And so, as and when we get Dr. Brenya, we will speak to him and also pick his thoughts as to what he intends to write. I understand Dr. Brenya is on the line. Hello, Doc, and thanks so much for your time. Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Right, so we have conducted a series of presidential and parliamentary elections in this country. How come this particular issue has not been rectified?
Well, what issue?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Yes. I'm listening.
Yes, I'm saying that the Electoral Commission has directed, the Supreme Court actually has directed the Electoral Commission to adhere to the portion of the collation center by ensuring that parties are giving the collation sheet to sign and all that. And I'm saying that we have conducted elections, presidential and parliamentary, and how come this particular issue has not been dealt with, even with the CI 94?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we all know what happened after the election in 2012, the election petition. And we realized that this issue came out where a lot of the pin sheet had signatures missing, where party agents and in some cases polling agents did not sign. And we came to realize that many of this was happening because the Electoral Commission, in many cases, the party agents who were at the stations were to sign on voluntary basis. It wasn't required. They were not required. It was rather the returning officer that signed. So in either to prevent some of the things that happened in 2012 election and ensure some level of credibility, now the Supreme Court is mandating the Electoral Commission to make it as part of the requirement to make sure that all the party agents that are there are actually legally mandated to sign. And I think that's the reason why we have that instruction.
All right, so will you say this is a victory for credible and transparent elections?
Exactly. If you look at what is happening in this 2016 election, it's surprising. I was listening to one of the adverts by the Electoral Commission where they said that Ghana, that they are organizing one of the best elections in 2016. And I think indeed it is, because people are so conscious of what is going to happen in 2016, and the stakes are very high. I think everything is being done to ensure that this election will be more than any other election that we have had in terms of the level of preparation and the level of credibility that people is expecting from the 2016 election.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Brenya. Right, we've been talking to Dr. Edward Brenya. He's a lecturer at the Department of History and Political Studies at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and